What's going on, guys? This is Larry at TJRSim. Today we're going to look at RaceRoom, Racing Experience, and we're going to concentrate on the force feedback settings. Let's get a good feel of how to be fast and get a good feel of what your car is actually doing underneath you. It can be pretty numb feeling with the wrong settings in this game. So we're going to go over that and get you down the track, hauling ass, having fun, enjoying what your car is doing, or knowing what the heck your car is doing, so you can be more competitive. So let's get to it. Alright, of course, go to options, and we're going to go to control settings, force feedback. But you know what, let me cover secondary functions real quick. Now, I'm going to cover that because the main one that I'm interested in and that you need to know about is the increase your cam movement or decrease it. Don't go too crazy with this one. It looks great on video. You know, your car bouncing all over the place, but it's not very. It doesn't give you good feedback. And remember, you're in a sim. Okay, so if your car's bouncing all over your place and your actual wheel is not moving around on you that you're driving with, you know, it's sending mixed signals to you. So I keep mine around, actually I keep mine at 15%. I seem to like that one the most. Some cars I will bump it up to 20%, just depends on the car, but a good base setting is 15%. Turning it off completely is fine. It's better than having it on. But you want it to kind of mimic what your actual steering wheel is doing if you're going to have it on. Otherwise, it kind of throws you off, throws off your visual game, so to speak. So I just wanted to look at that real quick. Of course, you can map this to your steering wheel, or if you have a button box, to play with it when you're actually in game. So advanced settings real quick. This is, of course, where you adjust your, your steering, your brake, your clutch, and throttle and all that, right? Mine set up here is H pattern shift off, speed sensitivity 0 all the way down. Everything's 0 right here, right? As you can see, multipliers 4, steering sensitivity 50%, throttle 100, brake 100, clutch 50, and all the dead zones at 0. Alright, the nitty gritty. Let's learn how to be fast. Slow is fast, remember that. Another cue as well is that, you know, your steering wheel can only do 100% of one thing, right? So you start messing around with all these settings and you only got so many motors in your steering wheel. Fanatec, Clubsport version 1 has 4 motors in it, but they can only do so much at one particular time. So you really got to be sensitive to realizing the capabilities of your wheel for one, and then and get out the most out of your wheel per game of what you're playing. So, to start off, I'll go ahead and tell you my wheel settings on my Fanatec wheel. Of course, it's Clubsport version 1. If you have a version 2 wheel, congrats. It will be, this should be a great base setting for you for the version 2. If anything, you're probably going to turn down your vertical load a little bit because your wheel's a little bit more sensitive or more natural feeling. You'll feel a little bit more from less on your wheel, if that makes sense. But let me go through this. My wheel setup sensitivity is off. I let the game do all the rotation. So I don't set it to 900. I set it to off. The game's usually set up, most of these cars, like 540 degrees. Force feedback, the FF on your wheel is 100. SHO, SHO, 100. ABS, you can turn it off. I have it at 065 in this case. It doesn't make a difference with this game. The linearity, LIN, is off. Dead zone, DEA is off. Drift, of course, DRI, that is off. Force, FOR, is 100. It will go all the way up to 150. And of course down is off. I leave it at 100, and for practical purposes of telling you what to set things up, 100 is a good choice. Spring off, and DPR is off. those two are important. They can kind of mess you up, end up chasing your tail if you got them on, or you got them up to 100%. So I suggest leaving them off. Let's not let your wheel mask what your game's trying to send you, so to speak. So, general force feedback. Let's jump into that one first, okay? This is pretty quick, straightforward. Of course you're going to leave your feedback on, right? You want to feel something. Inverted force feedback on. Don't use gamepad, rumble. Force feedback intensity is 100%. This is your overall force intensity. Leave 100%. That's perfect. Smoothing and the rest of them is 0. If you're starting to get some gyration, left and right movement on your wheel going down the straightaways, your smoothing is where you can adjust that. Your feedback for your damper and your spring and stuff, these are just going to mask whatever settings you have down here in your steering force settings. Same thing it does on your wheel itself, on your Fanatec wheel itself, or I don't know how the Logitech wheels run because I don't have one, but same settings. So you don't want to mask the feedback your game's giving you, right? If anything, if it's giving you too much, you need to dial down that feedback so it feels more natural. So you don't want your race cars to drive like a tractor. You don't want super heavy steering, but you do want some force. You do got to have a little bit of a heavy steering to make it feel right. So the big one here is steering force settings. This is the big one. This is going to do what you really want to do. This is going to tell you how your car's reacting underneath you. This is where you can be fast because you're getting correct inputs in from the game through your wheel. Like I said, this is a visual game, and what cues your wheel gives you, that's where you're going to know how to ease off the brakes, get on the gas, turn in a little bit more, whatever, right? First one is steering force intensity. This is the percentage that steering force effects are applied. 100% means you get 100% of all these settings below it. You pump this up to 200%, you're getting 2 times the settings that you have here below. So, all practical purposes, let's just keep this at 100. There's really no need to go higher than that because more is not better in sim racing, especially with wheels. You kind of get what you pay for with wheels. They can only do so much stuff. And the Fanatec, I've been really, really pleased with the Fanatec gear. So that's what I'm sticking with. Understeer. This is a good one here. This is how quickly force feedback decreases when losing front wheel grip. So basically, your front tires are chattering, you're rolling through a curve, clicking along pretty fast, and you need to feel when your tires are giving way, when they've lost 100% of grip. So like I said, your car can only do 100% of one thing. You can 100% accelerate, or 100% brake, or 100% turn. So once you start applying other percentages like giving gas and turning in, you're splitting up these percentages, right? So you need to be able to tell what your front end's doing. Based on your visual cues as well, you can tell if you're running wide through a curve, or you needed to apply more gas because you're cutting the curve too sharp, getting into the barricades or whatever. So this one's pretty good. This is gonna, you set this one correctly and you'll be able to drive on the edge of traction a lot easier. So I leave mine at 100%. I really don't recommend going below 80%. I've done 80% for a while as well. But 100%, this is when you, like I said, you'll feel your tires chirp. You'll feel it slide. You can best figure out what the heck this does as far as the feeling through your wheel by going over grass, lock up your brakes, and turn your steering wheel, and you'll feel it slide. It's going to have no grip at all. And then if you happen to roll back up on a concrete, you're going to feel your wheel twitch on you and turn because it's gaining traction, so to speak. So understeer is a big one. This is going to really tell you what your front end's doing. Not doing anything for your rear end, but the front end. And really, there's not a setting for the rear to tell what the rear of your car is doing. And it'd be you are told through your front end basically. So if your rear steps out, your front wheel goes, into the slide. Basically, it yanks itself into it. So that's kind of how you're told. But since you're sitting in a sim seat or like an R seat or in a chair, you're not feeling it like you would in a real car. So it's important not to keep these all too high because it will mask what it's doing or what you should be feeling from your game. So understeer, 100%. Of course, this is up on the screen long enough for y'all to copy it down, but vertical load, I did want to, of course, explain all this. That way you can set it up if you don't have a Fanatec wheel. These settings may not work for you. But remember, less is more. And if you had to test one out, keep your steering force intensity at 100%, your understeer at 100%, and then start playing with the rest of them. And that's a good starting point. Start at 0, go to 0 on one of them, and then all the way back up to the max. See what it does. So it gives you an idea of what's going on. Okay, let's get on to vertical load. So this is the degree the vertical load on the front tires affects force feedback. So this is your up and down movement, right? I keep mine at 150%. I have ran it at 300%. It goes all the way up to, I think, 400%. Let's look. Let's look what this puppy does. I think it's 400%. Yep, I'm right. That's a first. Alright, so what do I have it at? 150? I'm getting really good feeling with these settings too through my wheel. I'm really impressed with it, and definitely makes this game a whole lot more fun when you get these settings right, and a lot more competitive as well. Of course, now in the game, I'm driving on real settings, get real settings, not amateur or anything. So this is all based on get real settings. If you're switching to amateur or whatever, it's just going to start turning on the overlays, basically. The traction control is going to come on, the ABS is going to come on. So it's going to mask some things. So this is based on real world or get real settings in this case in this game. So okay, so vertical load, let me get back to that. Getting sidetracked here. All right, this is the up and down movement affects your force feedback. This is when you go over bumps in the track. This is why your wheel moves around so much on the straights, basically. So if you got it up to 300%, your wheel's jumping all over the place as you're going over dips up and down, and your wheel's chunking you around left and right, or trying to get your wheels to recenter straight on the track, so to speak. So it's not very natural feeling. It's like you're running dirt rally or something if you're on 300%. It's going crazy. So and then coupled with your cockpit cam view, if you got that cranked way up, it's really going to screw up your vertical load because you're going to be seeing your car doing something and you're going to be feeling it through your wheel, and it's going to be a different story of what you're seeing. So that's why I suggest keeping your cockpit down 15%, 20%, nothing too crazy. But I keep this one here at 150. It feels the most natural feeling on the straights, and you still get some feeling on the straights, right? So you feel when your car's going over dips and stuff like that, but not so much to where it masks your understeer. You can increase this up. If you increase this up too high, it will mask your understeer, and you won't feel when you're losing grip in your front tires going through a curve. So be careful with that. I would leave that one alone. Like I said, 100% on understeer, but your vertical load, this one makes a big difference. This will be the gyrations that you feel all the time just going down the straight. And it will mask everything. It'll totally screw up everything, or it'll make it wonderful, one or the other. So it's a fine setting. 400% is just crazy. 150% feels the most natural, like I said. Let's get on the lateral force. Lateral force, this one's pretty good actually. It's different. This is the weight of your wheel. So what it says is the degree the lateral forces on the front tires affect force feedback. This is how much it affects your force feedback. All right, so this is your left and right, your side forces on your tires. So when you turn, your wheel's trying to go out and your tires coming in, kind of against it, right? So it's the friction of the road and the tire, and it's moving left and right, squirming, So Uh, lateral forces, 50% is real good. Let me see what this goes to. I think it's 100%. No, 200%. Did I guess right? Yeah, 200%. Yeah, that's a huge difference. So this is another one of these cases. Don't max all these out. The game's going to feel like crap. And then you're not going to be happy with your game and you wonder why the heck you bought it. So you got to set this up right and you got to take a little bit of time, but I'm hopefully taking that guesswork out for you. This is great base settings for you to start with and then adjust it from there. The lateral force is 50% is what I keep it at. That is with my FOR on my Fanatec wheel at 100%. Now I have tested, a whole range of these, right? But one in particular, since this affects your wheel weight of your wheel turning left, right, you put this down to 0%, and it's going to feel like you're driving a pickup truck with a real light steering wheel. You put it up to, the 200%, it's going to feel like a tractor. So without power steering. So, it's kind of hard to turn in when it's too heavy of a wheel. So it's a good delicate balance between them. 50% works good for me at 100% FOR on my wheel. Now remember, your wheel on the Fanatec wheels will amplify any of these settings. So whatever you have set here, your wheel will amplify that even more. So it's kind of as if you could turn up your steering force intensity to 200% or 150%. So if you put FOR on your wheel at 150%, that's the same as putting this at 150%. Thereabouts. I mean, I'm sure there's some little bit of equation overlap, but layman's way, that's about right. I could be wrong a little bit, but that makes the most logical sense and from me testing. So what I do like as far as lateral force goes, not to get sidetracked here, I have tried this at 0%, and of course, like I said, it feels like you're driving a pickup truck, right? Real light steering, easy to turn, not like a GT sports car, not like a Corvette or anything like that, right? But if you turn up your FOR on your wheel to 150% and you leave this at 50%, I mean at 0%, it actually feels really good. You feel a little bit more of what your understeer is going on and a little bit more increase of what your vertical loads are without hampering each other. So that was kind of interesting to find out. So, but since I was kind of setting this all up for 100% FOR on your Fanatec wheels, we'll keep it at that. And plus this will work for a base setting for any other wheel, I would imagine. So steering rack, this is a weird one. I want to feel what my tires are actually doing because that's what's connected to the pavement. I don't really feel much of an effect of this at 100%, and obviously no effect at 0% when I'm already playing with my lateral force. Now I haven't tested out my lateral force to be 0 and then start messing with my steering rack. Like I said, I want to feel what my tires are doing, so I leave the steering rack off on 0, and it feels pretty damn natural to me. So that's it for that section there. Steering forces, these are big ones. So now these force feedback, these are basically overlays, and these can greatly affect your force steerings. The first instance of what you really want to do is like, I want to feel all these engine vibrations. I want to feel when I'm braking. I want to have heavy curbs and shift and hard jolts from shifting and stuff. That's what we all want, right? But our wheels can only do so much of one thing. So these are my settings. I got 35% for engine vibrations, brake vibrations 35%, curb 50, shift points, shift effect 50. So I'll start off with the engine vibrations just as a quick note. You don't want to go crazy with this. I think it goes to 100%. Let me see. Yeah, 100%. 100% is neat, when you're sitting there in the pits and you feel your wheel, you feel the vibrations of your engine and stuff through your wheel and your rumble effects and all that, but it masks your vertical load severely. So you'll feel engine vibrations like crazy, and then as your RPM increases going down the track and stuff, you'll feel all that through your wheel, but you won't feel what your tires are doing when this is up too high. So I found a sweet spot around 35%. Seems to work really well. I wouldn't go over 50% on this one. depending on your wheel. It may even depend on what rim you're using on your Fanatec. If you're using the Formula 1 wheel, you might want to turn this down even more. So mine is based off the BMW wheel, so which is a little bit heavier wheel. Porsche wheel will be about the same, but like I said, if you're using your F1 wheel, you may want to adjust it down. But okay, that's that one, right? So that one can really screw up your vertical load, which means you won't feel your understeer as much. You won't feel your front end sliding as much with your engine vibrations up. Brake vibrations just opposite. You feel everything perfectly fine until you slam on the brakes or you start getting into the brakes. 100% feels really cool because you know, it has no effect until you start hitting the brakes. But then it starts masking everything at 100%. So I don't feel my understeer as much when I have this vibrations at 100%. So you can't tell what your tires are doing, you know, at 100%. So when they're skipping across the pavement, you know, you won't know it. So I turned that one down to 35%. I guess you could go up to 50% would be the max I would go with on that one. On curb, now, so let's get on down to the curb because we're almost done here with this one, not make this too long. Curb vibrations, I keep it at 50%. 100% feels awesome when you're going over curbs. You really get a big jolt from these curbs at 100%. The only problem is you don't feel your understeer if you're in a turn and you hit those, or it screws you up because your steering wheel is vibrating so much. You tend to overcorrect yourself with this curb vibration. So you're like, oh crap, I hit this curb and I feel the vibrations. It feels great, but now I got to steer away from it because I can't tell what my front tires are doing. So you end up, these force feedback effect settings, this is where you can really start chasing your tail based on your steering force settings. These are really just after effects. These are overlays. You want to get all your steering force settings done right first. If anything, if you want to start from scratch, set all these down to 0 and then just mess with these. Just mess with the steering force settings rather. But curb vibrations at 50% seems to work really good with the BMW wheel on the Fanatec. It doesn't mask my understeer, doesn't mess up my vertical load or anything like that. So shift effect, that's one that's it's a great plus to have. At 100%, oddly enough, I don't feel anything. It's as if it turned off. Maybe just be my download of the game or something, but I don't feel it. 35% to 50% I feel. It's not a very heavy jolt. It's just barely there. I feel a whole lot more of a jolt through my Buttkickers when I'm running SimVibe because I can have just one transducer do my shift effects, you know. So if you're not running transducers, of course, you know, you want to feel something through your wheel, or maybe you don't, but I wouldn't go over 50%. That is a max. Low side 35%, you know, it's still enough that you'll feel something, but after a while in the intense part of racing, you're not even going to feel the shift effects. You're going to be concentrating on the front end sliding or the back end stepping out on you. So just remember the steering force settings, that's the most important. Understeer, you know, feeling what your front end's doing. Vertical load helps you feel what your rear end's doing, like stepping out, as well as your up and down movements and stuff. So I hope this is helpful to y'all. I'm going to also try to either add a video to the end of this one or create a separate one showing what my wheel's actually doing with these settings set up on track, so you can see how crazy or not crazy my wheel is affected by these settings. So I hope you enjoyed it. It actually was kind of fun researching this again. I had all these settings set up a long time ago, kind of forgot about some of these stuff and someone on the website TJRSim.com wanted to know about this, so this is for him and everybody else that maybe have these questions. I hope this will help you. Until then, we will see you on the track. I am out. Bye. Alright guys, doing some RaceRoom experience here. Just set up some force feedback settings, explain the force feedback and what does what. through your wheel. Of course, you can see here I'm using my Fanatec Clubsport version 1, and I'm going to explain what's kind of going on through the wheel as I drive here. This is just in a practice session. I am running the BMW Z4 GT3 car. Let's get going on it. Got my track IR on. Looks like no traffic. I'm going to try to hold my hands as loosely as I can so you can see what the wheel does. See? Totally feel what the force feedback's doing. Obviously I spun out. Let's get some vibrations through the wheel there. Of course, went off track. You feel all that oscillation back and forth, you know. I'm kind of doing some of this on purpose just so you can see it. The curbing, you feel good. It's just just vibrating on the curbs. This is, of course, at the settings that I had already displayed. Vibrations through there. I felt the front tires give away right there under braking. A little bit of snug on the wheel there. I felt all 3 of those bumps. 4 of them actually. Here's the example. I'll do an example over grass, you know, as far as feeling that one adjustment I was talking about, understeer. Lock it up. I feel a little bit of vibration, but all the traction was lost. So, feel that rumble. I feel a little bit of up and down from the road. You can see the car gyrating up and down. I was able to catch that slide because I could tell what my front was doing as well as my rear. Still a lot of vibration through the wheel. Was able to overcorrect it. Right there you feel the wheel hop, that pop, 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 just hopping right there from the front end. Losing traction on the front end. The front end was sliding. Front end was sliding through there too, but I was able to give it some gas, straighten it out a little bit. Of course you feel those bumps. Set 50% as well. This inside curb feels kind of nice. Front end sliding just a little bit. Back end stepping out, easy to correct. Front end skipping through there. This game gives a lot of front end feel. A little bit exaggerated, I think, too. But with these settings, it helps keep everything in line. Felt that I went off track right there, which screwed me up for that drive. Oh, a car hit me. Thanks, buddy. Way to go. Let's see if we can catch them. We can flip them off. Vibration through there, front end skipping. But I was able to tell what it was doing. So I was able to ease off the brake. See it's skipping a little bit. I'm able to ease off the brake. It's jerking around. I don't hardly get clipping. This up and down action of my wheel is actually the tires skipping, losing traction, and going over bumps actually as well. It's all that coupled together. The front end got light, wheel turned to the left over that crest. Almost spun out the back too far on that one. You know, the key to going fast is confidence. So once you can get the feeling and the wheel that you want, your speed will increase. Just felt the back end step out on that one pretty easy. Now if you got the forces up too high, you're not going to be able to catch these slides. This is on get real settings, okay? This isn't traction control on, ABS on, or anything. No assist, basically. Nice skipping through there. I mean, you can see what my wheel's doing. That's what I'm feeling. Feels really good. Now, if you turn up the curbs up to 100%, it feels a lot better through there. But you're sacrificing some lateral feels. Ooh, able to catch that one. Yeah, I started to spin out, but I was able to catch it and it wasn't, I didn't lose all that much of a lead on this guy. Or a trail rather. But with the right settings, you're able to have some better threshold, more consistent threshold braking basically with it. So hoping this is helping people see what the settings that I applied and what it's actually doing to my wheel. Adjust my mirror right here. Front end slid, got too hot in there, totally wrong line. But the point is, you're able to save it and correct it. Front end's just dancing through there and it's pushing like crazy. This is with the stock settings, suspension settings, nothing changed. You'll be able to dial some of this out once you start messing with that. All these force feedback settings are just telling you what to do with the wheel. So you can see it's chasing the track, you know. Stepping out, see if he gets light up over here. Yep. Ah, no, not really. Not that time. A little bit of feathering of the gas to save that one. That guy's steadily getting away from me. I'm driving like crap. And right there was pretty numb feeling. I couldn't feel that slide. Once that slide was initiated, I couldn't feel it at all. That's something I would hope would get improved in some future updates. But you could not feel, once that slide was going, it was gone. Like that, that's a numb feeling. You don't feel that slide after it's initiated from the back end stepping out on you. Not sure how they would correct that. I mean, you can feel when the back end steps out on you, it jerks the steering wheel back and forth from traction, gaining traction, losing traction. Like there's just skipping my front end. See the good example. I want to grab my E-Brake. So don't got an emergency brake on this car. I'm actually having fun with this because you can feel what's going on. Corvette almost on me. my Z4. Front end skipping right there. You can just feel it bouncing, chattering across the track. I'm trying to give it more gas than the front tires can hold, basically. But my back's got traction through there, so it's not spinning up. Slow is fast, so they say. Alright, that's probably enough on this video here. Give a good example of what my car's doing. Not the, oh, look at that, rumble, rumble, rumble. See, and the grass is a lot smoother. It's just kind of pushing around in the dirt. Not that bad. It's not like the gravel pits. And I felt that rumble up over the curbs. It's kind of nice. These are pretty harsh right there. Lock up the front, just slides. Anyway. Spin out, burn out. We'll end this one in a burnout. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed it. Hope this was helpful with the force feedback settings that I have in game. And like I said, you're able to see what this wheel's doing and with those settings. So until next time, we'll see you on the track. I'm out.